Hello, everyone. I'm Janice Williamson, and this is my yoga class on Wednesday mornings at 7:15 Mountain Standard Time, 9:15 Eastern Standard Time. And we have a couple of blocks here. I have a strap, and I have something to sit on just to lift my hips up a little bit. So that can be a little cloth, or I've got a little puffy thing here. So whatever you need. Um, And the theme today is going to be the yamas. And the yamas are they can be translated as the laws of life. They are in Patanjali's sutras. And I'm just going to have us sit for a moment in butterfly. So our feet are together. And I'm going to sit up on something, just put something underneath my hips to lift my hips up. And it projects my torso forward enough that I get a little bit of help here. So, and I'm just holding onto my ankles, and I'm just going to wiggle my shoulders around and roll them back and roll them forward. Good. And then I'm going to lift my arms up, stretching them up. Stretch the shoulders up right around the ears, stretch them really far up. You can move one side and then the other, and then I'm going to let them down. And then I'm pushing my hands all the way out, the base of my palm, and then I'm coming up with my arms the other way, pushing the backs of my hands out, and now I'm pushing my palms out. Good. And now I'm going to rotate my wrists, and I'm going to stretch my fingers out again, and I'm going to make a fist with my over my thumb. And I'm going to press very, very hard, lift them up, punch the air a little, give myself a little stretch. And then I'm going to flick my fingers out, so I'm stretching my fingers very wide. There we go. Good. Really stretch. This is the flick off any nasty feelings you have this morning or this afternoon or this evening or wherever you are. There we go. And shake out my hands. Good. Very good. So I'm thinking of yamas, and yamas are useful yogic principles. And it turns out that the Patanjali's 5 yamas are similar to the Buddhist first sort of precepts. And they are ahimsa, not harming; satya, truthfulness; asteya, not stealing; brahmacharya, celibacy, and I have other interpretations of that; and aparigraha, which is not being acquisitive. So these are the 5 restraints rather, or the sutras, that are supposed to be practiced always, irrespective of place, time, circumstance, or social status. And in Patanjali's time, I'm told that it was quite revolutionary to address cross-class and caste and circumstances. So it's quite fascinating that it is a kind of liberatory practice, yoga, that's intended for everyone, no matter where you are. So these precepts are supposed to be the great vow of yoga, and I find them helpful and also impossible. So while I'm sitting here, I'm just pressing my legs, my thighs into the ground. Now, if that's too much for you, you can build up your knees to support you. and just take some of the pressure off. But we are doing a yin practice today, so we're spending a little bit of time in these poses, and you'll have to endure my talkativeness about the yamas. I must say I'm very enamored of yoga philosophy, and I feel as though if I had taken up this part of yoga earlier, I did take up the physical asanas and the pranayama, but not so much the philosophy. If I had taken it up earlier, I might have been a better mother, teacher, etc., human being, but such is life. I suppose you have to assume you were good enough, and there's no point in regretting what's come to pass. All right, so, and we're just breathing, we're feeling the openness in our chest. We can put our fingers together, our index finger and our thumb, and put our hands up. That's a mudra, and it is opening us up. And when we are sitting here, we can inhale so and exhale hum. And this is supposed to be the universal, the sound of the universe. And it is I am. So inhale, hum. So you can say it silently to yourself, or you can say it aloud. So hum. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So we're now going to just fold our legs in and stretch them out in front of us into Dandasana. And I'm putting a strap around my toes here just to give myself some support. And you can hold onto the strap and just come forward with a straight back. And we're just going to time this so that we have a way of working together. So I'm just going forward with a straight back, and then at a certain point you can just fold forward. And here you can, if your neck is sore, you can set your neck up on a block, or you can just let yourself fold over. And the movement is to press out through your heels, through your toe mounds. Make sure that your toes are even, as though you're standing on the floor, and your head is moving out towards your feet. So it's actually an elongation of the spine as you are moving down. So it's forward, and then you're breathing, inhaling and exhaling, and you're moving down. In my research into the yamas, I was relieved to find Swami Kripalu, who pointed out that the eight-limbed yoga begins not necessarily with the five yamas as admonitions to tell the truth, to be generous, chaste, and so forth, but rather to be a little less greedy, a little less untruthful, a little less unchaste. And it's important to note that Patanjali was very clear about making certain that everyone understands you shouldn't keep one yama that might contradict another. So, for instance, the first yama is ahimsa, or do no harm, no harm. The second one is satya, truth. So, if telling the truth will harm someone else, then you are obliged not to. I find this a very practical philosophy, one that will lead to good community harmony. So this is from a book, The Wisdom of Yoga, by Stephen Cope. And he writes that the brilliance of this yoga technique of yamas is that with this notion of doing no harm, of speaking truthfully, of not being gluttonous, etc., there is a brilliance in the technique, because what we do when we start attending to the yamas is we start acknowledging a pattern, and we study it, we observe it, we respect its power, and if possible, we make an intention to interrupt it just at its very end point. So that can be, as he says, a reaction to a reaction: self-hatred, negative self-talk, moralizing, guilt. So he says, let's begin by deleting a little of this and then a little more. So this is a very useful way to think about it. All right, now we're going to just roll up. And so maybe one of the intentions that we could have today would be to take one of the yamas. I'll go through the yamas one by one and see if we can focus on that one and observe ourselves and our relationship to that yama. How do we harm others? When do we tell untruths? How are we intemperate? How do we find ourselves gluttonous, etc., etc.? All right. So I'm going to go through and just begin at the last one. We're just going to bring one leg in. This is half butterfly, and put our leg out, stretch out here, and I'm going to turn slightly towards the extended leg. So this would be straight. I'm going to turn slightly over here, and then I'm going to come down. And once again, you can use your strap if that's best for you. And I'm using this hand to press into the and so that I have an elongated spine. My neck and my lumbar and my all of the cervical spine are all in their line. And then I'm just pulling down. And now I'm going to hold on to the outside of my foot, or you might be up here, in which case you can just fold over. So I'm just drawing in here and moving in at a bit of an angle. And I'm pressing into my heel. This will help protect my knee. And I'm pressing my thigh into the ground. So it's quite a strong posture. And I'm just breathing here, inhaling and exhaling. And we'll just stay here for a moment or two. So I'm going to just describe the fifth, yama, which is aparagraha, which is not coveting things. So I tend to be a thrifter par excellence for my entire life. And at 73, this has meant that my basement is full, and so is my garage. So I am going through practicing aparagraha by letting go. And one of the critics and interpreters of this sutra interpreted letting go and the admonition, the restraint from acquisitiveness and gluttony. Their image was to let go, and to let go like a leaf, which is such a beautiful thing, to let go like a leaf. So here I'm letting go into this posture. I'm feeling the elongation of my spine, and also that my upper torso is just letting go as I breathe into this pose. And now we're going to roll right up and extend the other leg out. In this case, this would be your left leg, I believe. And draw the foot into the thigh. You can press that foot into the thigh and press the thigh into the foot, so you've got some oppositional energy. And once again, I'm just slightly twisting towards that leg. And you can use your strap if you like, or you can go down by your shin with a straight back. And then at a certain point, you can just elongate your spine over that leg. Feel your head moving towards your foot as you descend. And you can use your hands however you, with a strap or on your shin or over top of your toes or on the outside of your foot to provide a little bit of more of a slight twist. And we're just breathing here, inhaling and exhaling, and we're letting go like a leaf, like the fifth yama. You can stay there. I'll time you so that you are not going to stay there too long. Now, the fourth yama is brahmacharya, and this is quite controversial. It's celibacy, and of course, we have a sense of our own sort of sexual awakening, whatever age we are. But the interpretation, some of the interpreters and teachers have of brahmacharya is not absolute celibacy, but self-regulation, self-control, or the proper application of energy. The literal translation of brahmacharya is walking with the divine or connecting to the divine. So these teachers emphasize a middle way in terms of the yama brahmacharya. And now we can come up here and we can just move into our twist. So we'll extend the other leg out, cross our foot over the thigh, and press our fingers into behind us, stretch our arm up, and really stretch up, really stretch those fingers up. And then turn, and you can either catch this or you can open yourself up like this. Oops, here comes my puppy dog. She wants to play. Or you can also bring this leg in if you like. There we go. And we're just sitting in this twist, feeling ourselves rise up, pressing that front foot into the ground and turning as we go. And I'll just time us there for another moment or two as I go through Asteya, which is the third yama, and it's the third law of life or moral compass. And it comes after ahimsa, non-harming, and satya, honesty. And when we think of asteya, we can think of it as it's non-stealing, but we can think of it as not taking from others or not stealing from yourself. And now we're just going to extend our legs out, and if you don't mind, extend our legs out, and we're going to cross our leg over the other way. Oops, the other way. There we go. And press into the back with our hand, lift our arm up, and turn. And we can use our arm as a lever, or you can hold on here and you can draw this leg in. There are many variations on this half Lord of the Fishes pose, and we can decide how we want to approach it depending on our body. We are our own best teacher. And I'll return to Asteya, the third yama, non-stealing. And so the notion of not stealing can mean not stealing time. It can mean I was late for everything most of my life, and I was just always late, which is a kind of stealing time, stealing others' time in the interest of your own time. And I was always apologizing. It was almost impossible for me to be on time. Partly I was a single mother, but the other part of it was I just couldn't seem to do it. Now, a lovely quote I found related to not stealing is a Native American saying, which is, "We have not inherited the earth from our forefathers. Have only borrowed it for our children. We have not inherited the earth from our forefathers. We have only borrowed it for our children." Such a beautiful concept, one that's very relevant at this moment. And now you can come back and we'll just let our legs go out and shake them out here. So we've done a couple of twists. We're going to extend our legs out here. My puppy dog, Ruby Coyote, will let me. And just here. There. I'm just extending my legs out here. I've got something underneath my hips to raise myself up a little. And then I'm just going to walk my arms forward slightly and pressing into my heels. So this, once again, you may want to have blocks here, and you might be tired. You put your elbows down on blocks and just feel yourself moving forward. And you have a straight back at the beginning, and then you can fold over. And you can hold on to your toes. You could hold on to your ankles. If this is too much, by all means, put something underneath your head to make sure that you are liberated from pain. You can feel discomfort, but not pain. And we're just pressing into our feet here and feeling ourselves lowering over our front body. And here, we're breathing into our back body, feeling our back body work like an accordion. We can imagine the spaces between our ribs opening up with our breath, inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. And I'm thinking about what it means to borrow the earth for our children. And we'll just keep ourselves in time. And of course, you can come up whenever you like and go back into it. Yin yoga is about developing resilience and about knowing your own body. And you may find that you are overwhelmed with discomfort, in which case do come back. That's called finding your edge, where you find discomfort. You can ease off and then move back into it, or you can ease off altogether. I'm walking my hands now over to one of my legs, and I'm just going to hold onto my shin and draw myself down. You can use your elbows to extend yourself a little bit further. And this is uncomfortable in the groin. You should feel a stretch all along the muscle, not just at one end of the attachment. That can lead to problems with your tendons that attach to your hip, etc. So you should feel the stretch in the belly of the muscle. And now I'm going to walk over to the other side and just feel myself moving further down. It's early in the morning here, so I am very stiffened, but it's a lovely stretch and an elongation of the spine. My head is moving towards my foot, And both of my hips should be on the ground here. And now I'm going to walk back, and I'm just going to roll myself up here. And I'm going to draw my legs in, and I'm just going to embrace them. And I'm going to slap my feet on the ground. Good. Waking up my feet. All right. Now we're going to go down onto our bellies here. Well, we'll go on into cat-cow. We'll do a little movement in our spine. Spinal mobility is key to our well-being. And we can press our toes into the ground and give ourselves a little toe stretch here. So we're just going to lift up and down. So we're exhaling as we lift our belly up and our chest up. And then we are opening our chest out. And we're exhaling as we come up and inhaling as we're down. Exhaling up and inhale down. And one last time, exhale up and inhale down. Now we're going to just stretch back, and we're stretching our arms out here and lifting our tailbone up. So I'm just pressing into my hands and pressing my tailbone up. It's a really lovely stretch for your shoulders here. This is called puppy pose in yin. And it's a lovely little pose. It's a version of the child's pose, but it has more accentuated opening of the shoulders here. And we're just staying here for a moment, really pressing into our hands. We can draw our hands towards our body, and that provides a little bit more of a stretching feeling. And I'm just going to move into the second yama, which is satya, which is truth, telling the truth. And the point of this is to tell fewer lies, apparently, and to not tell the truth if it harms someone else. So Buddha is said to have decreed that there are three things that cannot be hidden. One is the sun, one is the moon, and one is the truth. Good. Now we're going to come forward and we're going to meditate on that. These three things that cannot be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And we're going down on our bellies. We have our hands in forearms in Sphinx pose here. And we've got the fronts of our toes on the ground, pressing into our forearms and feeling that our spine is curving, our head and neck should be in line with our spine. We shouldn't have our head crooked back or dropping forward. And we feel really that we're rising. We're actually extending upwards as well as around with our spine. And when you have had enough of that, you can walk your hands forward to the edges of your mat, press your hands into your mat, and this is a lovely seal pose. So we're feeling a more dramatic dramatic curvature of the spine here. You shouldn't feel it. You should press your pelvis into the ground and your thighs and the fronts of your feet and your palms of your hand. And you can as you're remaining in the pose, you might find your ability to do your back bend increases with the moments as they tick by, in which case you can press further and maybe go a little bit deeper. Or you may find that's enough and you want to just put your head down, make a pillow with your hands, and put your cheek on your hands and rest for a moment. So I love the intelligence of Buddha. Three things are hidden: the sun, the moon. Sorry, three things cannot be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And now I'm just going to come down and I'm going to make a pillow with my hand and rest here for a moment. And now I'm going to come back up and just put my one leg forward. This is my left leg, your left leg. And I'm going to put it into a pigeon or a swan pose. So here we are. We've got our leg back. This foot is I've got my heel extended here, protects my knee, and I'm sitting. I'm up, but I'm up here, and you might find you could use a block to help you with your. But you don't want to move into your lower back, so you decide where you want to be. And then in your own time, you can come down to your forearms in this pose. It's pigeon in Hatha Yoga and swan. This is sleeping swan in Yin Yoga. And then you can just stretch out if that is in your wheelhouse, as they say. If not, not to worry, you stay wherever it is comfortable. And we're just going to stay here for a moment. And I'm going to press myself back now, and I'm going to just reverse my legs. So I'm going to go over here on this side and extend my back leg back. Make sure that this is in a my heel is extended here to protect my knee, and I have it at an angle. The full posture is at a right angle, but I can't do that because of my knee. So you have to be careful. I'm pressing into this is an upright swan. And then as I stay here, I may find myself coming down to my forearms and then to my, then straight over into my sleeping swan. So you find your own space in which to do this really deep hip opening pose. And we're breathing here, inhaling and exhaling, and we're going to stay for just a moment or two. Here. So the first yama, ahimsa, do no harm, it has a beautiful Buddhist story that is connected to it, and that is the story of two arrows. That the first arrow is pain, and that is something that happens to all of us. And the second arrow is suffering, and according to Buddha, the suffering is self-inflicted, and that we have an opportunity to endure and of course suffer the first arrow, but we don't need to insert a second arrow of guilt or remorse or whatever. It's important to keep it simple. And that notion of doing no harm, according to the Dalai Lama, he says his religion is simple. My religion is kindness. That's his interpretation of doing no harm. And now we're going to press back. We can just roll onto that hip one more time. And I'm going to invite you to come down onto your back and press your feet into the ground and just gently roll your pelvis up and roll it down and roll it up and roll it down and roll it up and roll it down. This time I'm really pressing my feet into the ground, and I'm going to clasp my hands underneath my body, or you could hold on to the edges of your yoga mat, and I'm pressing myself up into a bridge. And I'm just going to stay here for a moment, pressing my feet in and extending my arms out, pressing my shoulder blades into the ground, really pressing up, pressing my thighs to the ceiling, my knees to the opposite wall, and drawing my shoulders under, breathing deeply into this open chest. And now I'm going to roll down, and I'm just going to drop my knees to the right side. And if you like, you can lift the top leg up and hook your foot underneath the other one. And that gives you a little more of a twist. And you can turn to face the opposite hand. So you have a lovely twist here. And we're breathing, breathing, breathing. And now we're going to raise both knees up and drop them to the left side. Arms are extended out. We're looking towards the right, and I'm lifting the top leg up and hooking that foot underneath the thigh of the other one. And I can actually put my hand on that thigh to give myself a little extra weight. There shouldn't be any strain here. It should just be a passive twist at the end of class, just to give us some deep relaxation. And now I'm taking my legs up, and I'm just going to draw them in and into a happy baby pose here, lifting my feet up to the ceiling, pulling with my arms, pressing with my feet, feeling that oppositional energy which characterizes so much of yoga asanas, and really feeling a lovely extension of our body. And now I'm going to just stretch my legs right up the ceiling, point my toes, circle my ankles, and circle the other way. Circle one way and circle the other way. Good. Then draw your knees in and extend your legs out into Shavasana. Now, if you like, you could put a block underneath your sacrum and have a slight back bend in part of your Shavasana, but that is not necessary. I'm just going to do that because I have a little bit of a kink. So you decide what you want to do. That might be too much for you, so just stretch out on the ground and feel a sense of release here. Like a leaf, you're letting go. Like a leaf from a branch of a tree. Soon it'll be autumn and we'll see the trees let go. So imagine we are letting go. Our arms are like a leaf. Our legs are like a leaf. Our eyelids are letting go. Our cheeks, our scalp, our feet and fingers and toes. And we're breathing easily here, opening and closing, reflecting on these beautiful guiding laws of yoga. Ahimsa, do no harm. Satya, tell the truth. Brahmacharya, temperance or the middle way. Asteya, not stealing, not stealing time, not stealing the earth, borrowing the earth for our children. And finally, the fifth, aparagraha, non-acquisitiveness, letting go like a leaf. And we'll just leave you in silence for a moment or two. If you have a block underneath your sacrum, you can remove it. And just breathe easily. And as you feel the sensation in your fingers and toes, you can stretch your arms over your head And your feet, your toes, you can stretch long. You can stretch one side, and then another. And in your own time, you can draw your knees into your chest, roll over to one side, press your arms into the floor, your hands into the floor, and push yourself up to a seated position, or you can just remain in Shavasana for the rest of the day. And I'll leave you with one saying to enter into our week ahead. This is from Lao Tzu, the Taoist teacher. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. And I'll thank you very much for being with me for the last while, for sharing time on the mat with this small community of lovers of yoga and lovers of life. The teacher in me, the student in me, honors the student and teacher in you. And we honor all of our teachers. Deep bows to all of you. And I'll dedicate the merit of this practice to those who are suffering everywhere. Thank you.